Welcome to Mediclinic. In this video, we'll be discussing regarding another one endocrine organ, that is adrenal gland physiology. So adrenal gland itself is very important one, as it is a called life-saving gland. It is doing a very important function in the body. First we see adrenal glands, where they are located. Adrenal glands are located both the side above the kidney, these are adrenal glands. So they are situated above the kidney, called as suprarenal glands. They are called as suprarenal glands. And adrenal gland is pyramidal shaped gland, or you can take it as a triangular shaped gland. This adrenal gland, like this, adrenal gland, it is divided into center part medulla, and outside part cortex, outer part cortex. Center part is medulla and outer part is cortex. Again the cortex is divided into three portions. Portion number 1, portion number 2, and portion number 3. Like that, it is divided into three portions. First portion is called as zona glomerulosa. It's called as zona glomerulosa, and second is called zona fasciculata. And third portion is called zona reticularis. So simple it is. What I did, whole the adrenal gland is divided into two parts. Center part is medulla and outside part is cortex. Again the cortex is made into three parts: first, second, third. First part is zona glomerulosa, and second is zona fasciculata, third is zona reticularis. How to remember this? It is GFR. GFR is the most common terminology used in case of urinary formation, that is in nephron. GFR, like glomerular filtration rate. This is a mnemonic, just remember. It is first is glomerulosa from outside, middle is a fasciculata, and next one is reticularis. This is regarding three parts. What we made as, consider this is adrenal cortex. Outside is zona glomerulosa, and middle is zona fasciculata, and below one is zona reticularis. We made like this. In the whole portion of the cortex, zona glomerulosa makes only 10% of the thickness. Zona fasciculata makes 80% of the thickness. Whereas zona reticularis makes only 10% of the thickness of the adrenal gland. So what is the major function of this? Zona glomerulosa will be secreting mainly aldosterone. Zona fasciculata is secreting mainly cortisol. Zona reticularis is secreting the sex hormones. This is the sex hormone, that is testosterone and estrogen. It is taking part in the synthesis of testosterone and estrogen. So looking at this, aldosterone is a function for absorption of sodium into the body and excretion of potassium outside the body. This is a major function of this aldosterone. Absorption of the sodium and excretion of the potassium. So for that purpose, it is mainly taking part in the electrolytes and some of the minerals changes. It is called as mineralocorticoid. It is called as mineralocorticoid. What do you mean by the corticoid? Corticoid means these all hormones of the adrenal gland secreted here are mainly steroid hormones. Steroid hormones. They are not a protein hormones. They are also called as steroid hormones. These are also called as corticoid hormones. Corticoid hormones. So they are secreted from the cortex and they are steroid hormones. Aldosterone is called as mineralocorticoid. Cortisol is called as glucocorticoid. Why glucocorticoid? Because it is mainly the function of the glucose is all secretion and synthesis and regulation of everything. Glucose is mainly taking part by the cortisol level in the body. Cortisol is a major to regulate that. For that purpose, it's called as glucocorticoid, glucose metabolism. These are sex hormones. They are for androgens. They are called as androgens. They are called as androgens because they are sex hormones. So this is the overall look of adrenal gland and brief introduction to that. With this, we are going to start with the first layer, zona glomerulosa. We are going to discuss with first layer, zona glomerulosa. What we did is, this is the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland. This is medulla. It has got 3 layers. It has got 3 layers. Layer number 1, 2 and 3 here. Layer number 1 is called as zona glomerulosa. Layer number 1 is called as zona glomerulosa. We enlarge the layer number 1. The cell of the layer number 1 we enlarge like this. We enlarge the cell of zona glomerulosa. We enlarge the cell like this. Zona glomerulosa. See, what a function I told? The function of the zona glomerulosa is to secrete the aldosterone. We write this aldosterone here. So what makes to synthesis of aldosterone? We will discuss first. See, in general, the adrenal gland is controlled by the pituitary gland here. This is pituitary gland, and pituitary gland above is what? Hypothalamus. This is hypothalamus and this is pituitary gland. Hypothalamus will secrete the hormone known as corticotropin releasing hormone. Corticotropin releasing hormone. That corticotropin releasing hormone will come into the anterior pituitary. And from the anterior pituitary there is a secretion of ACTH. ACTH is what? Adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. As the hypothalamus will release what? Corticotropin releasing hormone, and it will come into the anterior pituitary and stimulate the anterior pituitary to release adrenocorticotropic hormone. This adrenocorticotropic releasing hormone comes and acts on the zona glomerulosa cell. It acts here. Zona glomerulosa cell. ACTH. It comes and acts in the zona glomerulosa cell. Okay, fine. And the action of the receptors present on the cell of the zona glomerulosa cell. Here, action here. This cell gets stimulated. As this cell gets stimulated, there is a activation of G stimulatory protein. There is an activation of G stimulatory protein in the cell of zona glomerulosa. This in turn activates the surface enzyme adenyl cyclase. On the activation of this adenyl cyclase, there is a conversion of ATP into cyclic AMP. ATP into cyclic AMP. Right? This cyclic AMP is important when it acts as a second messenger, and ultimately it leads to synthesis of protein kinase A. It leads to synthesis of protein kinase A. How it leads to synthesis? As it will stimulate the nucleus to undergo the protein synthesis. Ultimately mRNA comes, mRNA will go to the ribosome and the protein synthesis starts. Ultimately there is a production of protein kinase A. This protein kinase A will be there. This is one part where the ACTH is getting activated and this step is getting stimulated. As I told, aldosterone itself is a steroid hormone. The rule says that these hormones are synthesized by cholesterol present in the cell. These hormones are synthesized by the cholesterol present in the cell. For that purpose, we call as cholesterol is the father of these hormones of adrenal gland, except in the medulla. Okay, cholesterol. From the cholesterol, there is a synthesis of pregnenolone. There is synthesis of pregnenolone, and pregnenolone, there is a production of progesterone. Okay. From the progesterone synthesis, there is a production of 11 hydro cortisone. 11 hydrocortisone, 11 hydrocorticosterone. Okay, you can add this with 11 hydrocorticosterone. 11 hydrocorticosterone. From the 11 hydrocorticosterone, there is synthesis of aldosterone. In between, you can add as corticosterone also comes here. Corticosterone. And from the corticosterone, there is a production of aldosterone. See, this is the step here. Cholesterol, pregnenolone, progesterone, 11 hydrocorticosterone, then corticosterone, then aldosterone. These are the steps how the aldosterone is synthesized in the cells of zona glomerulosa. This protein kinase A will stimulate this step, all the steps, and this will stimulate the cholesterol to formation of the pregnenolone. And there is a before starting of this step, the cholesterol is there in the ester form, and this ester form will become a free cholesterol form. That's also stimulated by the protein kinase A. So for that purpose, protein kinase A will induce the secretion of aldosterone more progressively. It increases the secretion of aldosterone. This is called as stimulus for the secretion. So for that purpose, ACTH stimulation is must and should be there. So this is the one where how the pituitary gland will regulate the secretion of aldosterone. But as in case of aldosterone synthesis, this is a weakest stimulus. Remember, ACTH is a weakest stimulus. ACTH is a weakest stimulus. Then what is the strongest stimulus? The strongest stimulus is angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 is the strongest stimulus for the aldosterone synthesis. Why angiotensin 2 becomes a strongest stimulus? We'll be discussing this now. See, whenever in the body, the blood pressure goes down. Whenever in the body blood pressure goes, this is the blood vessel and the BP goes down here. What happens when the BP goes down? BP goes down because of low blood volume. Whenever these two happens, whenever the BP goes down or the low blood volume happens, what it will do? It will, stimulus is given for the secretion of renin, where the renin will be converting the angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. Renin will be helping in the conversion of angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. From where the renin produced? It is produced from the kidney. So by the action of this renin, angiotensinogen was converted into angiotensin 1. Now this angiotensin 1 gets converted into angiotensin 2 by the action of angiotensin converting enzyme. From where it is coming? It comes from the lungs. So what I mean to say is, whenever the blood pressure goes down or the blood volume goes down, these things will happen in the body. Angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1 and angiotensin 1 is converted into angiotensin 2 by the action of these two, renin and angiotensin converting enzyme. This angiotensin 2 will come and act on the cell. Here. Angiotensin 2 receptor. As it comes and acts in the cell, what it will do? Again, same procedure. It will stimulate the G stimulatory protein, adenyl cyclase, then ATP into cyclic AMP. Then there is a production of protein kinase A, and now this steps takes place, and ultimately there is synthesis of aldosterone. Everything is the same there, but this angiotensin induced production of aldosterone is the strongest stimulation of aldosterone synthesis in the zona glomerulosa cell. Next one, what is the function of the aldosterone? I told function of the aldosterone is sodium absorption and potassium excretion. Sodium absorption and potassium excretion. Whenever in the body potassium level is more, potassium is excreted out from the kidney. So the potassium level more is again a stimulus for the more potassium level is again a stimulus for the aldosterone synthesis. As it will stimulate again, it will stimulate the G stimulatory protein, and G stimulatory protein will lead to adenyl cyclase, ATP converted into cyclic AMP, synthesis of protein kinase A. This takes place and there is a aldosterone synthesis. So three important stimulus are there for the synthesis of aldosterone. First one is strongest stimulus, angiotensin 2 induced mechanism, that is called as RAS system. What is RAS system? Renin, angiotensin, aldosterone synthesis. This is strongest stimulus. This takes place whenever the BP goes down and blood volume goes down. Second strongest stimulus is whenever the potassium level is more in the body, like tissue injuries, post-operation conditions. This where the potassium level is more, that will be stimulating here, and there is a aldosterone synthesis. And the third and weakest stimulation is ACTH, induced stimulation of aldosterone. Right. Next part is, as the aldosterone is secreted, it comes into the blood it comes into the blood. As it comes into the blood, it goes and acts on the kidney. It goes and acts on the kidney. In the kidney, basic and structural function of the kidney is nephron. Draw the diagram of nephron here. Nephron. These are the parts of the nephron. This is called as Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule, and this is collecting duct. Okay. This is collecting duct. The aldosterone that enters into the blood from the adrenal gland will go and act in the kidney, the cells of distal convoluted tubule. Here is the action of the aldosterone. It will act on the cells of the distal convoluted tubule. Right. We'll enlarge here the cells of the distal convoluted tubule. Consider this is the cell here. This is the cell. This is the cell of distal convoluted tubule. There is one cell. This side is a lumen. This side is a lumen where the urine is there. This side is a cell. It's also called as epithelial cell or principal cell. Epithelial cell or principal cell. It's called as epithelial cell or principal cell. Make it as a smaller here. Epithelial cell or principal cell. Right. See, when the aldosterone comes through the blood, and acts on the receptor present here. Aldosterone from the blood, it comes to the principal cell and epithelial cell. It comes directly on the cytoplasm. Why? Because as it is, I told, it's a cholesterol derivative and it's a steroid hormone. It is easily crossing the cell's membrane. It will come to the cytoplasm and it will stimulate the nucleus to produce proteins known as aldosterone induced proteins. It will enhance the nucleus to end. It will stimulate the genes here, and the mRNA is getting stimulated, ribosome, then there is a production of aldosterone induced proteins. 3 types of aldosterone induced proteins are produced. First one is the protein that stimulate the free passage of the sodium into the cell. The protein that will stimulate the this epithelial cell, where the easily free passage of the sodium will enter into the epithelial cell. First, that is called as permease mechanism. That is called as permease mechanism or permease hypothesis. Means what? The sodium easily enters into the cell. Another one protein is, it will directly stimulate these channels where the sodium will easily enter. Direct stimulation of the protein where the sodium easily enters. This is called as direct hypothesis. First one is permease hypothesis. Means what? The sodium channels are already there. There it will stimulate, the sodium will get enter. Second one, direct hypothesis, means what? This protein directly allow the sodium to get enter. After that, it will stimulate the sodium potassium pump. So that 3 sodium will get enter and 1 potassium will be coming inside the cell. 3 sodium will get out and 2 potassium will get enter into the cell. Ultimately, what happens? Whenever the blood aldosterone getting stimulated here, it will leads to aldosterone induced protein synthesis because of the action of this, where permease hypothesis, sodium will get enter, direct stimulation, again sodium will get enter, and there is a stimulation of sodium potassium pump where the sodium will goes and enter into the extracellular fluid and enters into the blood. In the blood, sodium level increases. As this potassium now will be excreted out in the urine and it goes out from the kidney, right? What was our basic problem? Basic problem is low BP and low blood volume. What happened now? As the sodium getting entered into the blood, wherever the sodium is there, the basic rule says that wherever the sodium is there, the water will also enter. That ultimately leads to increased blood volume, and these two together, where increased blood volume and increased sodium, will leads to increase in the blood pressure. This was there initially because of the aldosterone action. Now the blood pressure is increased. The problem is solved. And next one is wherever the potassium level is high in the body. Again, look at here. Because of the action, sodium enters into the blood, and 2 potassium will come into the cell, and that is excreted in the urine, that goes out from the body. Again, this problem is also solved by the action of this aldosterone. So aldosterone is called as mineralocorticoid because of it is maintaining this, and it is regulating the blood volume and blood pressure by the absorption of the sodium and excretion of the potassium. This is the first function. And second function, it maintains the acid-base balance here. It maintains the water balance inside the body. So for that purpose, aldosterone is called as important for the life-saving purpose. This is regarding zona glomerulosa. I hope it's better understood you. Okay, thank you, Vandana.